Hi, I'm Dave Hoffer. I'm a managing director of design at PwC, and I've had quite a long career in design, primarily in Silicon Valley, mostly designing for screen-based interfaces, although I have designed for physical product and services. I've designed brands, but a lot of my work is for the screen, so websites, web apps, things like this. And please forgive me, I've got a new puppy in the house who's very rambunctious. We're all working from home these days. So let me start by saying that, generally speaking, design is a very broad descriptor to me, right? One could describe design as a plan for the arrangement of elements to accomplish a particular purpose. And this quote, as depicted on this slide, is from Ray and Charles Eames, a pair of designers who worked primarily in the 1950s. But the fact is that everything is designed. My perspective is that since everything is designed, we have the opportunity to redesign it and to make things better. Because everything is designed doesn't mean that everything is designed well. The image that you're seeing on the screen is a pair of rain boots that have the toes cut out of them. These are by an artist named Caterina Camprani. And she does this artwork that is specifically non-usable objects, like these rain boots that are on the screen right now. So I use this as a very stark example of not everything is well designed. So on the one hand, it's important for us to recognize that because everything is designed, or we think that everything is designed, doesn't mean that everything is well designed, and it means there's a lot of opportunity. But when things are well designed, they can be beautiful. And the image that I'm showing on the screen is a couple of pieces of Lego. Those Lego have a shadow below it, and that shadow is of an airplane. So the two pieces of Lego sort of form a very simple fuselage and set of wings. The representation is an advertisement for Lego, and I hold it up as an example of beautiful design because it's an emotionally resonant advertisement. It really shows and really speaks to my heart in terms of design. Like, playing with Lego as a kid, we didn't have those crazy sets. We had really basic pieces. And so, this ad really just depicts my version of playing with Lego when I was a kid, pretending that very blocky pieces could be something else. So when things are well designed, they can be beautiful. They can be really, really useful and beautiful. And when I talk about design, I like to put things in context. And the context that I like to use is there is a model by a woman named Stephanie DeRusso, depicted on this screen in the upper right as an inverted triangular sort of shape. I flip the shape for my diagram, but it basically has, at the bottom of the triangle, it has a low level of design complexity. And at the point, at the highest end, it has a high level of design complexity. So the complexity increases as it goes up the diagram. And at the lowest level are objects. In the middle are services that you might design, which are hard to design, but not as complex as systems. And at the highest level is a number of things. And what I begin to list out in this model of complexity by this person, Stephanie DeRusso, is that at the very highest level, you have things like policy and urban planning and systems and infrastructure and public service. Healthcare is a really good example of a very, very complex system. So when you look at organizations, for the most part, they're working on design at the very lowest level, okay? They might have gone and moved up in terms of the pyramid and are working on things like experiences and thinking about behaviors, but very few are thinking sort of systemically. And we talk about inclusive design and accessibility. This is how inclusive design and accessibility present themselves. So over the top of the pyramid, I've got accessibility covering essentially the object level, the lower level things, because it's very specific things from an accessibility perspective. If you can make things tactically work for people with disabilities, then you're dealing with essentially a very tactical level of things. But inclusive design, applying design broadly across an organization and working in the construct of an organization system in order to bring people into the design process who are representative of racial, ethnic diversity, disabilities, abilities. You're bringing those people into design. That's an approach. And that approach is an inclusive design. So when we talk about design generally, we talk about this model of complexity, and the inclusive design covers that top bit, right? The sort of the pointy bit of the pyramid shape, and the accessibility, right? The sort of the expression of design from an inclusion perspective and a disability perspective is that lower level. So it's tactical. But all of these have to work in conjunction with each other in order to represent design reasonably. So I'm really happy to participate in this Liberate effort. I think it's a worthwhile effort. I think that there's a lot of room for technological improvement in terms of how we address people with disabilities. And I'm very happy to participate. It is my mandate at my organization to help introduce both accessibility and inclusive design across my organization. And I'm really happy to participate in this effort with y'all today. Thank you so much for your time today.